See large.
Thank you, Tracy.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can see everything. So today we are going to be doing a roasted carrots with a yogurt dill sauce. I'm going to start with the roasted carrots first. So the past, like I would say 2 months, I have been making a lot of carrots for my daughter and my husband. And that's because they really don't spoil in the fridge. They last forever. So if you're not going to the supermarket a lot, they're kind of a nice veggie to have around. But also because my daughter, one day when I made them, I cut them really thin, I roasted them up, and I had the white carrots and the purple carrots and the orange carrots, and she thought they were French fries. So she started eating them up like they were just the best thing since sliced bread. So now I make them quite often. It gives her beta carotene and vitamin A. So with the carrots, you can make them as large or as small as you want. So I already cut a bunch in this bowl right here, you can see. I'm just going to, so for the large end of the carrot, see this is a pretty large end. You're going to cut it in half, but then you're also going to go ahead and cut it again. So we're just going to add these. If you want to make them more thin, you can do that too. They'll just get a little bit more crispier. I kind of like them crispy. Okay. So next we're going to go ahead. The recipe says to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of avocado or olive oil. We're going to use avocado oil today. So I'm just going to eye it. I'm going to put the oil right in here. 2 to 3 tablespoons worth. And then we're going to go ahead and add the spices. So we're going to start with our, I don't know if anyone's used smoked paprika before. This is a really strong spice. We're going to go ahead and start with 1 teaspoon of this. And I'm going to add all of these spices into here. Okay. So we're going to add 1 teaspoon of the smoked paprika. Put that over here. Close the top so it doesn't go flying. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of cumin. We're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. We're going to add 1/4 teaspoon turmeric, so we're using really good spices. And we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Anyone watching their sodium intake, do not add salt. And then we're going to add 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So when I was roasting a batch before in here today, it smelled a little bit like Christmas. And then lastly, we're going to add 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne. If you don't like things hot or spicy, don't add the cayenne, but I think that this kind of makes this dish. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and just mix this together. Michelle, you can just come in and fix it. Michelle's going to try to come in and fix the screen.
Not floating, Jonathan.
Okay. You know, it's going to take us a few weeks to get used to doing WebEx classes. We're going to run into some hiccups here and there, but eventually we'll get it down right. So these are all the spices mixed right here. I'm going to throw them in to the bowl. And my favorite way to mix up is with your hands. This just kind of ensures everything gets distributed evenly. Okay. So you can see these are coated quite nice. So what I'm going to do, just wipe my hands off really quick. We're going to put these on a cookie sheet. I lined the cookie sheet with some parchment paper just to prevent it from sticking and just easier cleanup. And I smell that smoky paprika flavor. If you don't like that flavor, you're probably not going to like this, but I think that all these spices really blend together nicely. Okay, so now we're just going to take this. We're going to put it in a preheated oven of 400 degrees. And I actually made a batch in advance, and I'll show you guys the finished results after we finish making our yogurt sauce. Okay, so next we're going to be making our yogurt sauce. So for this, you can use a plant-based yogurt. Our topic today is, we're doing plant-based benefits, cardiovascular health. So you can go ahead and use a plant-based yogurt or a regular yogurt. I would use like a nice Greek thick yogurt. If you're using a plant-based yogurt, cashew yogurts are really nice, coconut yogurts. There's a couple brands out there that are really good, and there's a couple brands that are not so good. So just be mindful when you're choosing a plant-based yogurt. If anyone has any suggestions of good ones, please go ahead and let us know. So we have our yogurt here. I went ahead and chopped up some dill here, so I'm just going to add that right in here. Once again, we are going to be using cayenne. So if Milton's on here, I'm using this for you, Milton. Okay, we have cayenne, optional. You don't have to use that. We have 1 to 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So I'm going to start with like 1.5, and then I'll taste it and kind of assess from there. And then we'll put a little olive oil in here. So in my instructions in my recipe, I have the cucumbers, grated cucumbers, and I have optional. You can make this with cucumbers if you want to make more of a tzatziki sauce, which is a Greek yogurt sauce, or you can make it without cucumbers. So I'm actually going to leave the cucumbers out for today, but if you were going to add these in, you can simply just go ahead and grate them. Get the moisture out of the cucumber so that the sauce doesn't get too watery, and then put them in at the end. But this is a nice dipping sauce even without the cucumbers. We're going to go ahead and, let me grab. Okay, we're going to go ahead and smash the garlic in here. And then I'm going to grab a little food. We're just going to mix this up. So if you do use a plant-based yogurt, you may want to try to get a Greek plant-based yogurt so that it's nice and thick. So the way I would serve this would be, is you pour the sauce in a little bowl. And then we have the finished carrots right here. I don't know if you can see them. And what I would do is just kind of push these aside and then go ahead and serve it like that. So it's kind of like a nice little appetizer or side dish, whatever you want to do. So that concludes our segment for today. If anybody has any questions, you can email me. You can also email the Healthy Life Center. You can also give us a call, or you can go ahead and write a question in the little comment box. But thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off and my microphone off. If you have any questions, please go.